Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We are happy you could join us for HansaMatrix Investor Webinar. Today we are hosted by HansaMatrix Chairman of the Management Board, Jānis Sams, Management Board Member and Finance Director Māris Macijevskis, and Founder of Lightspace Technologies, Ilmārs Osmanis. We will start with the presentation on HansaMatrix and its associated companies Lightspace Technologies business update, followed by Q&A session. If you would like to join the discussion and ask your question to the companies, please use the Q&A underneath the presentation. Gentlemen, I'm now handing it over to you.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you for joining HansaMatrix Nasdaq webinar. We are going to present the Q1 results for 2022. So today I will guide you through a few points as the business, operational and financial highlights. Later on we will dive deep into the financial results. That will be done by Māris Macijevskis. After we will take a look on business development and outlook. And before moving to Lightspace Technologies, we are going to answer the questions. Yes, so on the business side, actually there is no significant changes in business environment when we talk about the EMS, so electronic manufacturing services. Still we see that there is strong and growing demand in all segments, but especially in data networks and industrial sectors. Unfortunately, the component situation worldwide is not improving, and this is the reason HansaMatrix is not able to fulfill all order book that they have, and actually we have approximately 20% of the backlog on the monthly base that is accumulating from month to month. And as the result, of course, we have an impact on our inventory level. So the inventory level goes up, and that makes more challenging our cash flow. Beside the component shortage, of course, we still see the difficulties coming from the price increase. So overall inflations, especially on the energy prices. Yes, thank you. Mari. So on the Q1 overall results, Q1 revenue were being 6 million euro. That is slightly better than it was Q1 2021, and significantly better than Q4 last year. On the Ebitda, we are positive with 800,000 euros. So that is 35% lower than the last year. And mainly this is explained by the product portfolio we have been working with. So this first quarter of this year, we have had the products where the added value is lower than it was Q1 last year. The normalized net profit is 100K, and this is due to the same reason. This is 77% lower than it was Q1 last year, but significant improvements compared to the Q4. If we take a look on comparison with peers, so the HansaMatrix share price undervalued by market, enterprise value to EBITDA multiple is 6 versus 12, that is our peer average. And we must consider that the value of investment in Lightspace technology currently is not represented in the HansaMatrix share price. Nevertheless, HansaMatrix EBITDA margin, if you see the table of the peers, is the second between the others. So even if you see the slight decrease compared to the previous quarters, due to the same reason that the product portfolio is changing for the products with less added value, still the result is the second among peers. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jānis, and hello everyone. I will present a bit in more detail our Q1 results. So if we look at the revenue amounted to 6 million euro, which is a 3% year-over-year increase and significant 25% increase as compared to the previous quarter or fourth quarter of 2021. Going further to quarterly revenue by region, three main regions to which manufacturing services are provided were Baltic states with 44% of total, Nordic countries with 25% of total, and the rest of EU countries with 23% of total. Services provided to outside EU countries this quarter were 8% of total revenue. This quarter revenue on year-over-year basis was significantly growing in Nordics and the rest of EU, and it was related to good performance of industrial and IoT sectors. Revenue decrease in Baltics and outside the EU is mainly explained by the global component deficit challenges. Going further to revenues by sector, two main revenue sectors were data network products with 35% of total and industrial with 40% of the total sales. IoT, optics and photonics and other product sectors were respectively 16%, 6% and 3% of total revenue. Revenue in industrial, IoT and optics and photonics increased significantly, while data network sector revenue decreased on a year-on-year basis. Sales increase in sectors where it increased is explained by increased demand for several products such as human-machine interface products, wireless solutions and camera products. While revenue decrease in data networks is related predominantly to the global component deficit. So this quarter reported EBITDA amounted to 0.8 million euro, increasing by significant 98% compared to previous quarter, indicating better component availability this quarter, but decreasing 35% on a year-over-year basis. Net loss amounted to 45,000 euro and is mostly explained by the EIB warrant liability fair value provisions. And first quarter of this year normalized net profit amounts to 129,000 euro, improving significantly compared to last quarter. EBITDA margin is at a very decent level and it was 13.4% and is determined by the reporting period manufacturing product mix. And then finally, trailing 12 months results ending first quarter of 2022, the revenue amounted to 22 million euros and EBITDA to 3.3 million euro, with EBITDA margin reaching almost 15%. Net profit was negative and was significantly influenced by Zinātnes Parks investment provisions in amount of 1.4 million and other non-cash charges related to EIB loan. Nevertheless, the calculated normalized net profit amounted to 500,000 in the last 12 months period.
Yes, thank you, Māris. So we will quickly take a look on the business development and outlook. As I explained in the first slide about the business trends, so I think that HansaMatrix has one of the biggest order book in their history for year 2023, and thanks to recent PO received from Nordics countries with the amount of 5.3 million is securing the order book for the next year. If we talk about the product itself, then This PO consists from the fault indicators for electrical lines, and the customer itself is the customer with whom we are working already more than 10 years. And what is important as well, that this PO is historically high for both of us, so our customer and ourselves. The supply, of course, is very much depending from the component availability, but preliminary we think that we will start the deliveries in Q4 and continuing through all next year. Short information on the investments. So this year Q1 we were been investing just 100 kilo euro, mainly to maintain the existing operations. And our plan for the Q2 and Q3 is to invest another 500,000 for equipment such as X-ray and CNC turning machine. And the explanation behind this investment is that X-ray is the mandatory requirement for another long-term partner, where to secure the quality we need to do the X-ray tests for their products. And as we are doing around 1 million products per year, so the test should be efficient, and therefore we are looking for the new X-ray that has the new capabilities. And if we probably it's a bit strange to talk in EMS about the CNC turning machine, but as we have other businesses that is now during the last half year start to grow significantly. Together with the PCBAs, we are going to provide the enclosures for the aquaculture business, what I described in my last webinar. There has been decision after the pilot run of first 50 cameras that we need to invest in another turning machine to be more efficient. So those two new assets will hopefully arrive in Q2. Thank you. That was all for the HansaMatrix webinar, so questions are more than welcomed.
Thank you. We have received quite a bunch of questions, so these will all be directed to HansaMatrix, and after answering them live, we will turn to Lightspace, the presentation and the question to Lightspace Technologies. And the first question that we have received: what happened with data network sales? Was the decrease due to extended lead times or less orders in Q1? And is there a reason to believe the segment will recover in Q2?
Thank you for the question. As we saw also during the presentation, actually the data networks in terms of demand is high and growing. And the main reason not to deliver is the chip shortage. So we have two suppliers like the Tex Instruments and Qualcomm, where delivery time of the chips are extended continuously. That's the only reason of decrease in revenues, but not in the demand. So all the distribution centers of data network products is empty, and customers are waiting for the months to get their products.
Thank you. Can we expect more added value product mix in Q2 and thus HansaMatrix profitability?
Yes, the question is again quite easy to answer. I think that it very much depends of component availability. If suddenly the deliveries of chips are improved for the data network, of course it will automatically give us the chance to produce more data network products where we have the highest added value on. In addition to that, it will probably not become visible during the Q2, but we are now working with one new project where the added value will be even higher than for the data networks. But I don't think that we will be able to see it during second quarter of this year.
Thank you. Could you comment on the increased inventory?
So to produce the product, you need all bill of materials. So if you need to have 100 parts to produce the product, you need all 100 parts. But then you purchase 99 parts and still you are missing one. And this is causing the increase of inventory while you are waiting for the last part. And if we talk in the figures, then our inventory turnover days went up from, let's say, in average 60, that is good signal or good indicator for the market, up to 130 now. So the inventory is almost double higher.
Thank you for explaining. What was the contribution from recognition of grant revenue in other operating revenues?
Māris, do you have an answer?
Yes, for which period? It's for Q1 or for Q1, yeah. Well, it's I don't have the exact figure at the moment, but I think it's around from 50 to 100K, something like that.
Thank you. Is the level of unfulfilled orders, for example, due to chip shortage, likely to change by year end? Will it grow or will it shrink?
If you would know, so, but normally if we follow the latest information from those critical chips, then situation should improve in late autumn. But I don't expect significant improvements.
Planned capex, PP&E, and intangibles for financial year 2022. So property, plant, and equipment and intangibles, planned capex for financial year 2022.
Māris, may you answer now?
Yes, the investments are planned mostly for manufacturing equipment. That is really needed to increase the manufacturing volumes. For intangibles, the investments are planned at comparably small level, and they are mostly directed to development of internal ERP system. But the indications we provided in this presentation for the coming 2 quarters, but overall year, we wouldn't like to mention the exact figure. We need to see how the component availability situation plays out, and so we wouldn't announce the whole amount planned for the year at this stage.
Thank you. HansaMatrix has a record order book, which it cannot fulfill. Yet its profitability is down from year over year. Why doesn't the company raise prices to balance profitability versus the order book?
That's a good question, and actually it's not really so. We are reviewing the price and increasing the price, but of course that doesn't bring you the immediate result on that, because order book has been always full for let's say a period of 3 months, and we must see better situation. But the other reason is still that we have very huge difference from customer to customer in terms of margins, and in case we have a let's say bad portfolio of the orders, we significantly see the decrease in the Ebitda margins.
Thank you. We have answered all the questions that we have received until now directed to HansaMatrix, so we're ready to proceed with the Lightspace Technologies presentation and questions afterwards. However, if participants still have any questions to HansaMatrix, take your time, type them down, and we'll make sure they are answered after the presentation of Lightspace.
Thank you.
So thank you, Eva, for introduction. So as I say, and thank you for everyone who is joining webinar. I will be providing. Well, I had a problem or luck to be founder in both companies. So and okay, then other people take over. So let's talk about virtual reality and Lightspace now. Next slide, please. So we already had participated with our part in presentation in a previous webinar. It was a month ago. And so there will be some gradual updates from on the business side. So we, as was mentioned last time, we launched a new product, so-called operational room headset. On top of that, during last month, we launched another modification of product, which will be industrial use headset with different configuration of cameras and other accessories on around that, which part number we call GP1. And that been released too. And company have started small series production of both models right now, and but as I say, process is not very quick and at very beginning. We have to start manufacturing. We have to start also fix the bugs and remove bugs and make right process. So it's a bit slow process. It would last maybe 6-8 weeks before we are on top running smooth operation. However, we are accepting orders. We received some already, and preparing products for shipment. So besides of course, besides making existing product, we do we are deep tech company. We do deep tech research, and as a reporting metrics also, I'll put a slide which shows results in our IP area. We are developing IP and protecting it, which is a very important part in R&D. So this is number of patent applications we submitted in Q1. You can see on the left there are a number of 3 Chinese patents, 2 US patents, and 3 European patents. So there's big number of them. We received patent number of 1 from US, which is last step before granting patents. So patent number comes when all the claims been confirmed and examination finished. So that is 1 patent coming out shortly. So this shows the productivity of our R&D team. Yeah, funding news, as was announced last time. We are continuing with bridge round, pre-listing bridge round funding, which was reported a month ago, being in level 1.25. After last webinar, we have very big interest. There are a number of parties, so we considered only applicants who can quickly make decisions. So we are planning to close around now. So good news is that we have reached 2 million euros in this bridge round funding, and we are closing this round now. We are in 2-3 weeks. We are starting next pre-listing investment round in North America, in US and Canada, and that is a part already of the listing effort. Anyhow, if there are any parties interested to take part in that one, no problem. We can accommodate that wish. And again, please use, for instance, parties use invest@lightspacetd.com email for contacting us. Update. So again, plan haven't changed. We have chosen to list at Toronto Stock Exchange Venture Exchange part. Listing process expected to take 7-8 months to complete listing. From 1 month already. We are in 1 month already in process, so it's minus 1 month from that. We are planning to raise minimum 10 million new equity. Usage of funds already plan is not changed. It's business development, ramp up manufacturing, and further development of technology. I think that that completes my presentation here. We have one question received. What is Lightspace net profit projection for 2020 to 2023? Can you capitalize fixed asset most of expenses? Our policy has, I start to answer from the second question. Our policy is to capitalize development costs of particular products that are going into manufacturing, or inventions that can be licensed where we have business plan. Answer is yes, we can capitalize quite a part of the expenses, and we do so. But we at this point it's not so. We won't disclose any net profit projections here. Of course, they impact kind of net result of HansaMatrix. However, I want to say here, this year will be changes. We can, if we do successful development, we could reach. I think beginning of next year we could reach net balanced situation if business develops as we see it currently. But despite reported net loss added to the HansaMatrix balance sheet, you have to consider that balance sheet shows you net book value of investment into Lightspace, and plus accrued impairments, meaning accrued net loss over a period, which is not really true. It's not fair market value in principle, considering that company will go listed, that its value will be more defined by this third party valuation on the new capital. I think by considering share price or a HansaMatrix value, that would be more fair to take that into account. Such way you would get much more like true valuation for HansaMatrix share price. Currently, it's extremely undervalued. That's one thing I can tell you. That's my answer. Yeah, please, if anything new.
Thank you, Ilmārs. We do have two more questions submitted by the participants. Is HansaMatrix currently EMS manufacturer for Lightspace?
Maybe I can answer this. As I say, as it's been already discussed last time. It's been discussed last time that HansaMatrix does provide services for Lightspace, basically on general terms. Answer is on those products that can be manufactured by HansaMatrix. Answer is yes. At this point, when the business grows significantly in US, that might not be case in every order or something, but still, Lightspace sees value in using supply from HansaMatrix for the products that you need proximity to manufacturing site.
Thank you. How many headsets do you currently expect you will ship by year end? How many targeted deliveries in 2023?
We kindly have not announced we have not announced publicly any figures, let's say, but I answered this one. We are planning to ship this year 200 headsets plus 200 plus, out of which 150 been already ordered.
Thank you. Where Lightspace manufacturing facilities are located?
It's currently Mārupe.
Thank you. It seems we have managed to cover all the submitted questions. I will once again remind you that the recording of the webinar will soon be available online, so please follow HansaMatrix and Lightspace Technologies announcements to stay up to date with company's news. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. Participants, thank you for spending this morning with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for attention.